Hey guys, this is Yu-Gi-Oh! Player 707, and I'm coming at you with a Magician build. This is made to summon the Supreme King Dragon's Arc. Um, if you're just here to net deck, then have fun with this. I'll see you next time. On to the cards and the combos. This was supposed to be a fun build, just made to bring out the fusion dragon, the big one, but it ended up being really competitive, and I like it a lot. So Astrograph Sorcerer is really important in this deck. Astrograph Sorcerer's effect is really good. Um, he basically lets you summon himself and add any magician pendulum that was destroyed by any reason. Um, these magicians all destroy themselves, so he is really easy to trigger. Chronograph is the same effect, but instead of letting you add one from your deck to your hand that was destroyed, he lets you special summon something from your hand. That's why I only run one of him. Not really important. He's a level 6. You could splash more of him in there and run the Moral Leader. That would be a good choice if you wanted to vary this. Odd Eye's Pendulum Dragon really isn't necessary. It's just there in case you brick. He's a search. He's also a beater, and why not? Shadal Dragon is there because he can be triggered off of Star Time. And Star Time triggers any time that a Magician Pendulum would be destroyed. So you can send Shadal Dragon multiple ways from your deck to the graveyard and pop whatever nasty spells and traps are in your way. We all know what Luster Pendulum, we all know what the Performapal does. Black Fang lets you target a monster your opponent controls and half its attack, and then blow itself up. And when it's blown up, you get to special summon a magician from your grave, which is a really useful combo tool to make rank 4s. Reusing things from your grave is what Xyz plays are all about. So Black Fang is perfect for helping combo and make multiple Xyz plays in a turn. You want to make Xyz and you want to put your pendulums in the grave with this guy in your deck. White Fang has the worst pendulum effect. Anything that targets, you can negate and then destroy. You're usually targeting your own stuff, and you usually never use him. Uh, Insight is there. You know why. They're all magicians. Iris Magician is treated as a pendulum dragon. That's the other thing about these magicians. Black is treated as an Xyz dragon. White is treated as a synchro dragon. Iris is treated as a pendulum dragon, and Violet is treated as a fusion dragon. Toon Magician is just there. Now, Iris, you can target a dark spellcaster, and any damage it would inflict to your opponent in battle is doubled. It seems like a really useless effect, but his other effect is much more important. When he's destroyed, he destroys himself when he uses his pendulum effect, and when he's destroyed, you get to add a pendulum graph card to your hand. These pendulum graph cards are what make the deck super competitive. The spell keeps magicians flowing to your hand, so you can anytime that a magician leaves the field, a magician pendulum monster leaves the field, you can add a magician pendulum monster from your deck to your hand. Super duper important. Keeps the magicians flowing, keeps your plays going. And the pendulum graph of space time is busted. Let me read the whole effect because I don't want to get it wrong. Your opponent cannot target spellcaster type monsters you control with trap effects. No breakthrough skills. You can target one magician pendulum monster card in your monster zone or pendulum zone and one card your opponent controls. Destroy them If you did not destroy both cards with this effect, you can send one card on the field to the graveyard, doesn't target. You can only use this effect of Pendulum Graph of Space-Time once per turn. Okay, so huge combos with this. You pop Violet, and when Violet is destroyed, you can pop a face-up card. You pop any Magician, and when you have Star Time on the field, you can you can send a spellcaster to your grave instead. So you go to destroy one of your scales and pop a card your opponent controls. Um, any card. Uh, Star time triggers, letting you send one to your graveyard. You send Shadal Dragon, you get to pop another back row. Pendulum Graph of Space Time triggers because the pendulum monster wasn't destroyed by Star Time's effect. You get a non-targeting send to the grave, so you can destroy one spell trap, one anything, and non-targeting send one thing to the graveyard, all off of this beautiful trap. Um, it's it's really awesome. Toon Magician is really important because he's one card exceeds when he's Pendulum summoned. So normally what you want to do is you want to Pendulum summon this Toon Magician and get any Magician from your deck, and then overlay into Star Time. Star Time searches Skullcrabat. Skullcrabat searches Insight or whatever other scale you want. Um, Duelist Advent is really important. It lets you add any pendulum card. So the pendulum graphs count, Luster Pendulum counts, um, Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon counts, Iris, because he's treated as a pendulum dragon all the time. Um, and you can also add Pendulum Call, which is what you 9 times out of 10 are going to add. I think besides for the Star Time Magician, everything else in this extra deck explains itself. Supreme King Dragon is OP, but usually by the time you summon him, everything on the field has been popped. And if it hasn't, then they still have answers. So don't expect you to win games on the Supreme King Dragon. You have to win games on out resourcing your opponent with this deck. Let's get on to the replays. We're going to start off with a duel against Cosmo Demise Artifacts. This is a very strong deck. I always go first with this deck. I always try to make Star Time first. Star Time gets your hand set up, gets you ready for to counter your opponent. He sets everything, goes for Tin Can, Card of Demise. He has a back row full of nasty stuff, and I don't know how I'm going to fight through this, but I Pendulum Summon one because I'm afraid of a Solemn. I don't want to go in too far. He flips 3. I don't know if that was the best play, but he's really trying hard to counter me. I have another Astrograph in hand. I summon it. I try to go for Supreme King Dragon Zark to blow up his whole field, but he's got more and more answers. So at this point he's running out of resources. But he's playing it the best he can. He's digging for more. He's back up to 3 back row again. This is where Star Time's effect to send a spellcaster to the graveyard is really clutch because I can send the dragon and pop more back row. In my standby phase, he goes for a Scythe play, which makes it impossible for me to Pendulum Summon from the extra deck. I just try to clear off his field some. He gets a Tin Can in the end phase, draws into another Tin Can, unfortunate for him. He's still using Cosmo Town to dig for back row. He goes for the rank 5 play, and I don't know why he returns my astrograph back to hand, but I'm happy with it there. So I try to use my iris effect to double my damage, but he bounces that back to my hand, which is also good for me because I don't have to worry about him bouncing again. Uh, Now I'm able to clear his field with the trap, um, space-time, pendulum graph of space-time, and he scoops. Next duel against heroes, I go first again. He drops Max C prematurely, and I just let him go -1. He sets everything. In the end phase, I pop, I summon, I add, and get ready for my turn again. Um, he he doesn't change Royal Decree to my draw phase, which is another mistake, but I'm able to pop his other face down in response. He's only got one face up Royal Decree on the field, so I feel comfortable going for the OTK. A little style points with that Shadal Dragon first, and this is game, but luckily he surrenders before I can send him to the Shadow Realm. Next duel up against Monarchs. No extra deck, lockdown Monarchs, nerfed but still annoying. I decide as soon as I see this guy is playing Monarchs that I am going to summon the Supreme King on him just for the disrespect. He opens with Gofu, Tribute Fodder, he uses Domain, gets Erebus, and starts spinning my stuff back. I think he's wrong to not attack my scales at this point, but I'm able to use the Violet Poison, give myself an attack boost, get that Erebus off the field, and pop the Domain. And then my next turn, I'm able to just go ham. And this is what the new magicians do. You pendulum, you exceeds, you recycle, easily making trapeze anytime you want. I know he has the trap engrave, so that's why I attack with Castel first, because I want him to block that attack so that I can get the 4K in from Supreme King Dragon. I know he has Monarch Stormforth because I gave it to him. He will use the Stormforth and get rid of my Supreme King Dragon, and he thinks he's doing really good right now because he's cleared off a lot of my field, but with the setup that I have right now, I can rebuild really easily, as you see. Pendulum summon, and he scoops when he sees lightning, or Utopia. He knows I'm going for lightning, and he knows it's game at that point. This is the deck list again. Again, net deck if you want, and I will be back with more replay and commentary videos as soon as I make them. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.